Hello, everybody, and welcome to Season 1, Episode 2 of Scheduling Conflicts, a show that I didn't think would sort of end up being a miniseries immediately. This is the show that we do when one of our other shows falls through. Last episode, we did a run of Monster of the Week in part of our prospect setting, sort of thrown into the future, a sort of post-apocalyptic version where our two fearsome adventurers fought a mirror-hopping demon. I think it went pretty well, all things considered. I think it was pretty fun. Today's session is going to be a little bit different. This is the world-building stream. We talked about what game to play. My co-host here really wanted to play a game where you play two dueling cowboys, but we decided we wanted to root it in world-building a little bit stronger. And so instead, we are going to be playing The Quiet Year, a little bit of a hack of it. The Quiet Year is sort of dealing with a very specific subject matter, right? Where these this militaristic group is going to come invade the area. Instead, we're probably just going to use it as more of a fun world-building prompt tool. We'll attach some sort of either apocalyptic or maybe just sort of cataclysmic event to the end of it, just for flavor. I don't have an initial leap for this, so I'll introduce myself and then I'll kick it over to my co-host, who I assume it sounds like is ready. So my name is Ethan Kipp, and I will be part of this game of The Quiet Year that we're running today.
Hello, my name is Spencer Mayo, and I will be the other half of that part. I have to burp. I've been drinking bubbly, unfortunately. So,
did you see they put out?
Here's my pitch.
There's a apple cider bubbly. There's a fall one.
I didn't. I thought you were gonna say they put out a recall notice, and I was like, all right.
No, I saw it, and I was immediately like, I need to get a carrier pigeon to Spencer and Nicole immediately. But I forgot completely. I was in Target, and I just didn't even occur to me. Sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
My pitch. We go to Grove.
Ooh, we haven't been to Grove in a while.
Yeah, pre-destruction. So they know it's coming, and they're getting their shit ready. But it's too late for them to have fixed things.
Yeah, so are we... So the only thing I'm a little unclear of here is, are we, flushing out Grove in this sort of post-apocalyptic future, or are we flushing out another moment in the Grove timeline?
My first thought was Grove gearing up for the apocalypse. Grove post-apocalypse is kind of fun, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, my question was just, are we tying it to the same time frame as the so for the record, for those of you watching in the future, we did a version of this off camera because we just wanted to see, how well does The Quiet Year work as a world building tool. We do a world building stream that I'm sure you're all huge fans of, and eventually you do sort of want to mix things in, and so we've been looking at and sort of gearing up on other sort of world building games in an effort to try to sort of enhance. Ironically, we are finally playing the map drawing one, and our artist is absent today, which is why we're doing this show. So I guess it's a little bit of an odd back and forth. That's what this is here. Hopefully this looks good to all of you at home. We are hopeful but pessimistic about it. So, all right. So we want to locate this in Grove. And I'm sorry, we just talked about this, but I didn't internalize any of it. So, same time frame as so we basically took the city of Edifice, which is this flying city, and we turned it into the city of Artifice, which basically means as magic is dying, Edifice, this flying city that is it's like the city of tomorrow for our technologically minded group, has to strip all of the magic gear out and turn it into a mechanical flying city, which is obviously, a very different arrangement. That's sort of the direction that we ended up pushing in with that, which I think was really fun and pretty successful. So we are going to be shifting that over to Grove, which is this hyper isolated community, sort of our version of the Feywild. It is a beacon of natural power. It is where the god Verdurin lives. Although Verdurin is not somebody that you can commune with. We've talked about this a couple of times as I've looked through our notes as we try to sort of turn Prospect into something that people can buy. We briefly discussed that Verdurin is the sun in the sky there, which is kind of interesting.
That's cool.
It does imply, unfortunately, that in the normal world the sun is a god, and we don't have a backing for that. I'm going to try to shift my Discord screen because otherwise it's going to look like I'm staring off cams all night. So let me see if I can just do that without messing up Streamlabs. I can't believe that worked. It did. Wow.
We're in.
Shout out to Streamlabs for the first time ever.
Once.
For once. It did mess with the aspect ratio, but I can fix that in 2 shakes. Spencer's like, why would you do that just as I was biting? This is a prank.
No, this is kind of like a mukbang ASMR.
I've often thought about the degree to which our show is accidentally a sort of occasionally kind of ASMR show, just because we are often playing our games at 7:30 at night so that everybody can make it.
Prime dinner / midnight snacking time. Consistently.
And I don't know how anybody plays or runs D&D without food. I've never understood it. I've got to carb up 3 or 4 times every few minutes of session. There's just no
My brain's
reality.
working way too hard, burning way too many calories.
All right, so that's okay. The only thing it did was drop the resolution for me a little bit, but I think that's fine. Everybody knows what my beautiful face looks like anyways. So now I'm not staring off into La La Land. All right, so we're going to be in Grove, trying to figure out what is going on there in the moments, right? In like the year before everything collapses. So the first thing that we need to do, for me personally, is we need to sort of sort out a couple of things. We're going to be disregarding some of the rules that surround the Quiet Year, mainly just because, like, if we only talk one at a time, this isn't going to be a very entertaining show. That is sort of the central issue for us there. And other than that, we're going to be playing pretty close to what it is. So every round, we are going to play a card, adjust the dice for that card, and take an action. We've done some of this before. Your action is discovering something new, holding a discussion, or starting a new project. It's important for us to note that our goal is not to win. Our goal is to not make it so that Grove is perfectly fine on the other side of this. Grove will not be, right? Magic will collapse, and Grove will be handicapped in some way. It will be sort of hamstringed. The ability to do magic there is going to be disrupted. We will move through the seasons beginning in spring, a time of abundance, and then sort of shaking our way down to winter, a time of scarcity. Our last example, again, was mostly them preparing for it in a very, like, we need to build something. We are creating a means of survival. It sounds like Grove's really not going to be as engaged with that, right? Grove is just preparing for this sort of inevitable end that is coming for them. So I think that's pretty good. I don't really have anything else. You feel ready to get some boots on the ground here?
I'm excited to make some Fey preppers,
yeah,
for sure.
The only things that we do need to set up beforehand is we do know some stuff about Grove that we should just make clear. The only things that are sort of, I can't believe it, for the 100th time I need to pop open the obsidian. I could never have anticipated how much time I would spend in this world building application.
So I know what's been heavily implied for me in Grove is they are deeply magical. They've got like a magic TV show that runs.
Yes, so
you remember
Grove is our most explicitly magical realm because of the death of Mystic, which is this sort of other magical place. The plane of magic is dead. It's called a cult now. So Grove is our thing was Grove is classic fantasy, and nothing has changed. There is no technology in Grove at all. It is wizards and sorcerers and paladins and clerics going on adventures and fighting monsters, and like, it is typical fantasy because that is the will of the archfey that live there. That is what entertains them, and so it is what the world is filled with. One of our major NPCs is there, a man, an archfey by the name of Oakworth Thyssen, is the keeper of lore that lives there and is in a giant tree somewhere. I don't know. We didn't really, it's a plane. It's like if you look up the actual lore for the Feywild in D&D, it's like, it's magic. And you're like, all right, you just sort of move on. Vildarin is somewhere there. We don't know exactly what that looks like. Vildarin could be like the whole earth that they live on. Vildarin could be the sun in the sky. Vildarin could be a god in the like capital G sense, where it's like Vildarin is all and everywhere. That's really something that we don't need to worry about too much. The chief political power is Spore Warden Hollowbane Badgerborough, a brutal dictator.
Sorry.
Yeah, Spore Warden.
Damn.
The Spore Warden Hollowbane Badgerborough, who is basically fully hunting down anybody who sets foot in Grove without permission, and is also pulling a real like there is no war in Ba Sing Se. Hollowbane's whole thing is there is no magic leaving Grove. We will be fine, and that is the line. And Hollowbane does not breach that. So he's probably going to be our antagonist. If these people are like, we need to acknowledge that something is happening, I think that we can safely say that the Wolves of Winter, or whatever they are called, is probably Hollowbane arriving. And that is what they are preparing for, is right. This day is going to come in the apocalypse. So I'm going to actually kick that over to you. You make that decision while I continue to talk about Grove. Is our endgame the God of Magic dies completely and Grove is isolated? Or is our endgame Spore Warden Hollowbane shows up, and this community will be destroyed or at least attacked? And the only other big thing we have is that there is a popular location called Bodar's Knoll, where there is a magical television program that runs 24/7 following the adventures of a lovable human fighter named Bodar Kleist, who goes on whimsical adventures that are always remarkably perfect. He always finds just the right magic weapon. Full of adventure and fantasy. It is basically a comedy entertainment that the Archfey adore. It's all the best things about being mortal. Like, Bodar dies and is replaced by his son. An endless repeat for all time.
It's so funny. That is, I'm going to tell you right now, my favorite thing we've ever made. We won't top it ever, and I'm okay with that. Bodar's Adventures is my favorite thing we've made up.
Bodar Kleist, who lives in Bodar's Knoll. Bodar's father runs the tavern in Bodar's Knoll. This was a very fun stream came out of the decision that Archfey think humans are just fun. But in a very consumptive entertainment way. They're like, look at them run. That I think is pretty good. So that's where we're at. That is the base situation.
My vote is we have it be magic dies.
Okay, sick.
I think Hollowbane showing up is one of the complications that we can introduce, but I feel like that's not a high enough stake, whereas everybody gets blowed up. Definitely does the trick.
Yeah, and I guess we don't really need to think about it too hard, but we should both start gently mulling around, like, what happens when the God of Magic dies to Grove? Like, is Hollowbane right? Will Grove be fine? Or will Grove become mundane and the Archfey will all begin to age? No, that's better. Yeah, it's better. I said it, and it's better. It will just become a mundane world. It'll become a verdant. It'll probably be the easiest place to survive in Prospect easily. It's just going to be an incredibly verdant rainforest. That's fine.
It'll be like being an adventurer used to be.
Because we know that the god Verdurin doesn't care. They're not dying. They're as strong as Arcust was, so they're not going anywhere.
Nope.
Okay. So, do you want to go first, or do you want to go first or respond first?
I'll go first.
Okay. Our first card is the King of Spring. A young boy starts digging in the ground and discovers something unexpected. What is it? Or an old man confesses to past crimes and atrocities. What has he done? And so what community, by the way, are we in?
Yeah, we need to name... This is like, do we want this to be the capital city of Grove, or do we want this to be a side village?
So the real question is, are we opposed? Is the civilization opposed to the rest of Grove? Or does Grove have a wake-up call towards the end?
We'd implied before that they would realize it before the end, within, a couple years, but then they wouldn't have enough power to do anything about it. Whereas they could have done it in the 50 years leading up. But in that last stretch, there's nothing to do.
Yeah, I mean, we have the capital of Grove as a beautiful city of trees and waterfalls, but we did not name it.
Oh, what's a good tree sounding, grass sounding? We got We used a lot of the tree names. We got Knoll already. We got Hollow.
Yeah, because our appendix
Spark.
for Grove, the only item under Grove appendix is Bodar's Knoll. We have no. I love that we said Bodar's Knoll out loud, and we were like, all right, we're done in Grove. That's pretty powerful stuff. Yeah, so I'm peeking through here. I don't really have much. I mean, if we want to be really on the nose, we could name the capital Arboreal. Right, or Arborea. Yeah. That's the right on the nose. It means trees. If we wanted to go in a different direction, we could sort of just try to tap into something a little bit more elemental there. We could say if we wanted a term that's a little bit more heady, we could hit them with it's the city of Petrichor, the city of there's something fun about the process by which plants take energy from the sun, right? Photosynthesis. I don't know what it would be because synthesis is too mechanical, but there might be something about photo.
Synthecar.
Photoculus. I don't know.
Elderhaven.
There's a chance if they're really dedicated to Vildarin, the city might be the grand city of Vildarin, or it could be Vildarin's cradle or something like that. That's a pretty common nomenclature that we could use. Or we could just put some fantasy letters together and we could just call the city Arthurain, or I'm trying to think elf stuff, or Thethriel, or Faraminus or something. Just sort of put some syllables together and land in the right spot.
Having Vildarin in there. Vildarin's Keep, Vildarin's Meadow,
Vildarin's Rest, for Vildarin's Field, Vildarin's Grove.
Vildarin's Grasp.
Vildarin's Grasp is better than Vildarin's Grove. Here we go. We'll just hit you. Oh my! This is gonna take a little getting used to. As a thing, let me give it another whirl. Woof! We are using a new software for this, folks.
And using our mouse.
I am unfortunately using a drawing tablet, and I'm still having a little bit of a hard time. So Vildarin's Grasp, great name, right? It is the place that is the closest within his reach. Which also lets me know what our mayor is, right? Our mayor is probably the hand of Vildarin, right?
Yeah,
within
easy.
Grasp, makes sense. Okay, so Vildarin's Grasp prepares for the apocalypse. They know that the end times are coming, and they have to prepare themselves for the world to become mundane. Their magical defenses will fall. Their great casters will be left powerless. Maybe some druids will retain a shade of their power, but all arcane power will be stripped from the world. You drew the King of Spring. A young boy starts digging in the ground and discovers something unexpected. What is it? Or an old man confesses to past crimes and atrocities. What has he done?
A young boy discovers in a valley nearby, right outside of town, there is what appears to be a large summoning circle, or teleportation circle of some sort. And it uses druidic magic, but nobody knows what it is. It's been out of use for a very, very long time. He was digging and he saw runes in the middle of it.
Interesting. So I have. So
it's been uncovered.
Did he dig it up? Is it a stone circle that he found, or did he find these runes? Do the runes float, or are they carved into something?
It was carved into stone. So when he was digging, he found a stone underbelly, and then people came and excavated it, and they found several stones lining a large stone circle in the middle.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, now it's time for you to take your action. You can discover something new, hold a discussion, or start a project. Obviously, we're talking pretty openly, so holding a discussion will only occur when it is thematically relevant. When it feels like they would stop and have a discussion, we will stop and have a discussion.
Start a project, it is unearthing the rest of this.
Oh, great.
So he's discovered it. They need to actually bring it out, bring it to bear.
Great. I'm gonna stop to say this because Baldur's Gate 3 is really popping right now. I'm using the Illuminated Tarot because I didn't have a deck of cards. Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot deck by Matt Hughes. And the King of Cups is that's Gale. That is Gale right there. That's him. What are you doing over there, Gale? What are you doing? Get back to...
Smarmy smile.
You got stuff to do in Baldur's Gate, my man. All right. I have drawn the Three of Spring. Three of Spring. Someone new arrives who or two of the community's youngest members get into a fight. What provoked them? Someone new arrives who two of the community's youngest members get into a fight. What provoked them? I'm going to do the work that frankly just needs doing whether we want to or not. A few days in, hearing word that they are going to be trying to save the world, everybody's favorite lovable scamp, Bodar, shows up and announces happily that he will be living, that he is here to help. And so Bodar of fame arrives in Vildaren's grasp, a city that he mayhaps has never been to.
They kept him far away. He was never allowed in the city.
So Bodar arrives and is like, this is going to be great. You did not set a time on how long it'll take to unearth that circle.
I'm going to say... First, I'm going to set red to be the timer on this. It'll probably take 3 weeks to dig it all up. It's a pretty big thing.
If it takes 3 weeks, it's big as hell. It's fucking huge.
Big. It's big to get it all up.
All right, draw that so that I can immediately erase it. Now it's my... So for my... Oh, I can't erase your lines. Well, that's going to be a problem.
3.
Yeah, I can't erase your stuff.
So then it's got to get put down to 2.
Yeah, so I guess I'll just make a 2 and we can move on. Vildaren's grasp welcomes Bodar into the city. This sort of local celebrity arrives. He does not know that he is just sort of a mascot for progress, so he believes that he is really here to help. And then a project where someone discovers something. Okay, I think that alongside the summoning circle, as people are exploring more and more about what the deal is with this circle, trying to figure out where it came from, they begin excavating the larger region around, and eventually they actually find sort of collapsed and half destroyed by the ravages of time. They find a wizard's tower that is buried in the ground, that obviously collapsed at some point, that seems to be part of this larger thing that is going on here.
Nice.
All right, that's my turn. On your turn, our 2 here becomes a 1.
Uno.
And you draw the 8 of Spring.
Let's go.
An old piece of machinery is discovered, broken but repairable. What is it? What would it be used for? Or an old piece of machinery is discovered, cursed and dangerous. How does the community destroy it?
An old piece of technology is discovered, usable. It is, it's like field tilling tech that they just wouldn't have needed to use ever, because they've got the blessing of the god of nature. But it's here. They've discovered it, likely in the bowels of... Here's what I'm thinking. Center of town is the big tree that our main character writer probably lives in.
Yeah, we can just have... Just that we have, some reference points. I'll just...
And then I'll add in a hoe.
here, and I'll make it part of the name so that we don't need to worry about it too much.
Sickle. There you go. A hoe and a sickle.
Nice. It's so digestible.
It's very obvious what it is, I think, when you look at it.
I'm 0% confused about it.
Yeah,
so
it looks
you
perfect.
so you've depicted it with a hoe and a sickle, but it's a piece of technology. So is it like
It's
a
technology.
tractor? Like how on our techno scale though, did they find a tractor or do they find like the Pharmatron 4000? Like where are we?
It's closer to a tractor. It's like a large, you know how an ox would have to bury yoke? It's like that, but automated. It digs through the ground.
Gotcha. So they some real Onceler shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Great. So they discover this thing that is buried. The great mystery is just like, how did this thing even get here, right? This sort of technology has never been allowed in Grove.
Yeah, wouldn't need it. There's no point in having it here.
And now you can set a project, find something, or start a conversation.
I'm going to start a project, for sure. Bodar believes that there is tomfoolery about within the archfey of the city. He thinks that there's a spy who's working for the bad guy. There is no bad guy. I want to make that clear. Like, he thinks they're the ones who are going to make the apocalypse happen. So he's trying to get to the bottom of that.
Great. So Bodar's looking for a dragon to slay. And so we start a project that is Bodar's trying to find the vast conspiracy that he is positive exists.
Exactly.
How long?
Bodar's looking for criminal conspiracy within the government.
How long do you think Bodar is going to spend? 1 week.
That's all Bodar needs, baby.
It's been 1 week. No, that's great. Absolutely love that.
Bodar, I'm going to give him, in this hand, a magnifying glass.
Or a cartoonishly large lollipop, both of which would sort of fit the Bodar vibe
and
pretty
then
well.
one.
Love that for Bodar. All right, so it is my day. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this clock. I just think they succeed. I don't think there's any really great discovery to be made. I think that they just excavate this magical circle. I think the main discovery is the sheer scale of it, right? It took 3 weeks to unearth, so they are sort of amazed. I think that they were looking at a magic circle that's like this little middle part with like some rays around it, and they were like, oh, that's what it is. And instead they discover that it is like a truly massive summoning circle. Who knows what this thing is made to like conjure up into the world. I've drawn the 7 of spring. Where does everyone sleep? Who is unhappy with this arrangement? Or what natural predators roam this area? Are you safe? Natural predators, I think that what begins to happen is I think that the animals of Vildaren's grasp stop listening. I think that they stop being able to communicate with the wolves and the bears and the dire wolves and the dire bears. I think stop listening to people. I think that they can no longer communicate with them, and so they start, for basically the first time, having to like worry about animals and what their effect on everything will be. How do I draw that? Is a really good question. I didn't sort of think through.
A face with an X instead of a mouth.
I'm just gonna draw a little. Draw an angry bear.
I see the anger.
He's got a snoot that looks kind of like
Turkey
a bird,
leg.
sort of birdish, and then he's got a big mouth and he's mad. He's got those bear ears. He's got those big bear legs, and he's got his bear tail. And he's got those bear teeth, and he's angry. How do I make him?
And he's certainly not a cow.
He's mad. There's no spots. He doesn't look anything like a cow. I don't know why you would bring that up. He's got spiky teeth and he's mad. He's angry bear.
That plays.
And then I can't wait to erase that when we solve that problem. I'm eager and excited.
We hunt down every last bear.
I don't know what it is, but I can't wait for it to get solved. And then I think the next project is pretty straightforward. I think that they start investigating the tower to see if it is connected, and I'm going to say that is going to take them 2 weekaroos. Try to figure that bad boy out.
Okay.
All right. It's next turn.
Let's draw.
First things first. Erase. Tell me, what does Bodar discover? What is the result of Bodar's inquisition?
Bodar discovers deep corruption within the city. Absolutely he does. But for other things. Like murder cover-ups and bribery.
So Bodar discovers
like
mundane.
That. Yeah, exactly. Enough that it really upsets the local populace and the government, but it doesn't help at all.
My most important question, does Bodar still believe that it is part of a vast web of conspiracy? Or does Bodar settle into like, oh, this city's just normal shitty?
Yeah, Bodar goes, a dead end. I'll have to find something else. And he moves on.
Okay, so Bodar, I'm going to leave it up to you to draw Bodar unearthing corruption. I guess you're going to have to really bring some inspiration into there. And you're getting all the face cards. You draw the Queen of Winter, of Spring. What is the most beautiful thing in the area, or what is the most hideous thing in the area?
Most beautiful thing in the area is, I'm going to do this before I draw my Bodar stuff. Behind, like up to the north, is, I'm still on eraser, massive waterfalls that just span like the entire space. They fade away into nothing. Like they just hit the bottom and then they go back up at the top. There's not like a big pond at the bottom. Clearly magical.
So it's this like eternal cycling waterfall. And then I guess, I don't know, I'll have Bodar like here. I'll just give Bodar some like, wait a minute. What does Bodar, I'm trying to find, I'm going to just draw a little skull at Bodar's feet. Bodar does unearth some nonsense. I have to be so zoomed out for stream that I can't see any details of what I draw. All right, so we've got massive eternal waterfall. Bodar's thing goes great, and that eternal waterfall is a source of infinite beauty. Everybody's like, whoa, look at this waterfall.
What you drew, I do need to say, looks shockingly like a key. A very well-drawn tiny key.
You know, I'll take it. We'll just say that it's a key, and he's like, I found a secret. All right. Now you start a project or discover something new.
I'm going to host a conversation.
Sick.
What are we going to do about all these corrupt officials that Bodar just unearthed?
What do we do about the sprawling corruption?
Yeah, what's the plan here? We can't allow this.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking over. I think we can erase each other's stuff. I think I just need to click into the... Nope, never mind. I can see that we are 2 different layers. So I was wondering for a little while. So in the good news category, we can just sort of leave it up to the Mayo editions, which is good. Okay, so the way a conversation works, for those of you who have not played The Quiet Year before, with the sort of hack of it that we're playing, they're more like for the visceral effect. You pose the question first, which means you get closing statements. So basically, the question gets posed to the community, like, what do we do? And I think, yeah, a older member of the city, somebody more affiliated with, like, the military of the city when it still had one, comes forth and is like, you cannot save a rat-infested ship. We must burn out this corruption wherever it lay. And so basically a faction of the city comes forward as like, it's time. Like, we must cleanse this before we prepare.
Another group comes forward and says, hey now, we definitely shouldn't kill all of our politicians and the people that run the government. They know what they're doing. They're corrupt, but we're about to lose everything. If we also lose their leadership, we could be fucked.
And that's the conversation.
All right. I think that the corrupt officials stay. I think they gotta stay.
I mean, I will say, technically, I think that when you have a conversation, you just have the conversation.
That's it. Well,
let me double check. We have the rules right here. Why not? For those of you listening at home, don't be afraid to pop open that rule book, see what the vibe is.
Especially when it's just you and your best friend.
That's very true.
Around on a map.
If you open with a statement, if you open with a question, you get to weigh in last. A discussion never results in a decision.
So the project would be cleanse the town of corrupt politicians.
Or the opposite. All that matters is that you bring it up. So again, if you're playing the Quiet Year properly and not as just sort of a fun world-building exercise, Spencer and I are supposed to stay perfectly silent and only speak during our turns, and discussions are the only way we are supposed to be able to communicate with each other about what we are trying to do as like people representing the city. That just, again, is bad radio. So, moving on. It is the Ace of Spring. And I have to do my countdown clocks. What am I doing? They finish the research in the tower and discover that the two are connected for the summoning circle. They don't find what they are wanting to, which is what does it summon. They learn that for the summoning circle to work, the tower would have to be rebuilt. The tower is the catalyst of the summoning. So if they want to explore more and like study the magic, they're going to have to reconstruct the tower, which will take an abominable amount of time if they decide to give it a whirl at all. Ace of Spring. What group has the highest status in the community? What must people do to gain inclusion in this group? Or are there distinct family units in the community? If so, what family structures are common? The highest status group in the community is this extremely illustrious group of like incredibly high level politicians that are called, there's names for the layers of a forest, like canopy something. I can't remember what the name of the top level of the forest is. Like, what do you call the upper canopy?
Emergent layer.
That's incredible. Yeah.
The emergence?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So there is this fancy group that are the corrupt officials to a nose. So basically what everybody discovers, what Bodar has discovered, is that this group, the Emergent, is it like straight up just the Illuminati, has been running Vilduran's Grasp forever. And they're like, we do what we want. But Vilduran's Grasp has never been invaded, never had any serious geopolitical issues, and Grove is the most secure of all of the planes. And so that is, coming off of that conversation, I think the Emergent just goes public. They're like, all right, if you're going to debate killing us, Emergent basically announces themselves as what they are. They're like, we call ourselves the Emergent. We have run this city since its inception. You've never lived in a world where we were not in charge. Most of us are ageless, eternal Fae creatures. You don't know what it's like to live without us in charge. You can't kill us. You don't even know what that world would look like. So basically, they just try to make a power play. They try to be like, what are you going to do about it? Like, we are, I am democracy kind of moment goes out. And I'm going to start the most important project in the world, which is Bodar still thinks something's up, and he's going to spend 2 more weeks figuring it out.
Oh, yeah.
Bodar's like,
getting out of the bottom of this.
Bodar's like, it's not that, but it's something. And heads off into the bosom of adventure to discover what is going on.
I can't wait to get to the end of this, and Bodar actually does solve it. So this is another alternate reality where the apocalypse is averted by Bodar.
Bodar just absolutely saves the day. 10 of Spring. Over to you, Spencer. You can bring down, I'll erase, and you can pencil in that there Uno for Bodar. Sorry, 10 of Spring. There's another community somewhere on the map. Where are they? What sets them apart from you? Or what belief or practice helps unify your community? I know what I would do. I'm curious to see what you're going to go with.
There is another group nearby, and it is He's gonna mark it over here.
Okay.
It's kind of making like a battlement.
It's a little impressionistic right now.
You know how it is.
Oh, there we go. No, I'm getting it though.
There we go. And that is the... It's not paramilitary. It is just the military organization of Bane Hollow. It's him and his ilk are nearby. Of course they are near Voldaren's grasp. But they are secluded because they don't want to be influenced by city politics.
So this is the actual fort of the Spore Warden, Hollowbane Badger Burrow.
Yes. And it's going to be called... I'm just going to write Wardens. Actually, I'm not because I can't write with a mouse. Can you go ahead and write Wardens over that?
Sure. I'm starting to get it. It's, the software we're using is, like, rigid. It doesn't like curves in a way that, like, my normal illustrating software is not quite so angry at, like, a smooth edge. Okay, so the Wardens are right outside the city gate. I thought you were going to say that the city becomes unified under the Emergent. Is there like, oh, it's not a coincidence that we're doing so well. It has been us. Like, this whole time, the city has been taking care of itself. I like that better, though, that the Wardens are like, knock, knock, idiots.
We're here.
Yes.
What are you guys doing?
Hollowbane being like, do I finally have an in to become the actual political power of the city? Has got to be pretty compelling for him.
Bodar V, the Spore Warden, is going to go crazy. Can't wait for that arc.
If Bodar doesn't kill Hollowbane in a duel, I'm going to be fucking pissed. All right, so that makes it... go ahead, you have an action to do.
All right, I'm going to say the next step is rebuilding the tower.
So they do go for it.
Rebuilding the tower, that's got to be 6. That's got to be 6 weeks.
Yeah, so
that
just for an
process.
Important note, you good job bringing it up. Everything is 1 to 6 weeks. 6 weeks being the longest a project can take. If your thing is longer than that, they recommend you divide it into sub-projects.
And they're not just rebuilding the tower. They are recrafting the sort of magical abilities of a wizard's tower at the same time,
which is
they're
tough.
Doing all that. Yeah, so 6 weeks.
Okay, we love that. Great. All right, so the first things first, go ahead and erase both of those. First up, Bodar's on the hunt. I think that Bodar begins to uncover the secrets of all of the people that Spore Warden Hollowbane has killed to keep Grove safe. I think that basically Bodar ends up actually like finding where all the bodies are buried and starts to go public with this other information about this other guy who's also not responsible.
Of a mass grave that he stumbles upon.
Yeah, I guess I'll just make like a little yeah, it's not like a literal mass grave, but I think that is sort of a helpful way to depict it. And I'll just do like, it's a little skeleton arm that's like, oh no, I've been killed. That looks like a branch. That's fine. It's a tree or whatever.
Yeah.
And I drew the 6 of Spring, which is, are there children in the community? If there are, what is their role? Or how old are the eldest members of the community? What unique needs do they have? The oldest members of the community are truly ageless archfey, some of whom are tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of years old. They are as old as the world. And I can't remember if this is a young Earth or not. But they are as old as reality, as old as Grove. What do they need? As magic begins to fade from the world, we've already done a vampire thing. It's so tempting to be like, they need blood, you know, they need that good old-fashioned juice. I think that as magic begins to wane towards the end of spring, and we are getting towards the end of spring, they basically discover that the Archfey are beginning to age rapidly, and that they need time outside. They need to sit out in the sunlight for long periods of time. They basically start having to rest for, instead of like 4 hours, for like 16 hours, just laying out in the sun, basically sunbathing. So I guess I'll just draw like a little, oh no, I gotta stop sketching. Yeah, I am gonna draw like a little poolside lounger with an Archfey just chilling, and he's got one of those like one of these things, one of these like sunbathing mirrors, and he's like, oof, take a load off, it's been a hard day, and he's just relaxing there, just sunbathing, trying to get his tan even. And then I get to start a project or discover something. Start a project or discover something. Start a project or discover something. I think that... Oof, this is tough. This is honestly really tough. I think that... no, I don't want to focus too much on the same project. Oof, this is tough. Starting a new project. I think that people start to... Oh, I know what it is. A new project starts. Somebody in town does the math, and a meeting is held where someone goes, what's going to happen to the eternal waterfall when magic goes away? And somebody goes, what do you mean? And he's like, well, it falls to nowhere. And they're like, yeah. And he's like, where's all that water? Where's all that water gonna go? And so a project, they're going to spend the next 4 weeks trying to figure out what do we do about that? Like, does the waterfall? A bunch of questions emerge that they've never had to ask before, which is like, where's the waterfall's water coming from? Where is it going to? What do we do? Like, is it gonna flood the city immediately when magic dies? Basically, this like very ominous conversation happens about the eternal waterfall, where everyone's like, "So, we got a long-term plan for this bad boy, or?" And that's the end of my turn.
All right. With that, I gotta draw.
Oh, and I've gotta set new times. I think we might need to... I think I may have put on a slightly too chill musical atmosphere here. I don't want to put any of our wonderful, audacious listeners to sleep. So I'm going to scroll around and see if I can't find something a little bit more... Ooh, how do I do this? So I'm going to go, just for a second, for anybody watching, I'm going to click over to stream starting soon, just so that you guys don't see me fiddling around on my computer for a few moments. But we are still here. And still talking.
We're still vibing.
Having a great time. I'm just going to scroll up until I find a music playlist that we've used for a stream that is a little bit, I don't know, maybe funkier. Instrumental city pop might be the move. Could be the move.
Instrumental city pop will be copyright.
Oh, it is?
Unfortunately, yeah.
All right.
I just played that when we had a team meeting.
Oh, no. I should put on the spooky one. Oh, yeah. But see, the problem is we put on a lot of really sick playlists that aren't royalty-free in any way, shape, or form.
No. We have like 2 royalty-free playlists, and it's combat or it's not combat.
Oh,
and that's it.
I'm going to put on that playlist I did last time. That one was really fun. And I can just verbally credit the artist this time. It's not going to fit, but it's just incredibly tight, and I want something that's a little bit more exciting. So we'll put this in the description, but credit to White Bat Audio on YouTube. This is their track that I think is pretty great. They have like 75 that I need to get through. I just haven't had the time. A lot of them are like 80s themed, which makes it hard to use them for D&D streams. If I'm
when we
being...
do Cyberpunk, it'll be perfect.
It worked really well for what we were doing last time. It's just, we can't... I don't think it's the most reliable. Yeah, see, that's just... I'm immediately in.
So good.
I just need to bring the levels down because it is quite the feisty soundtrack.
Let it rip. We'll talk over it.
Unfortunately, our last video, we sort of let it rip and had to talk over it, which was maybe not perfect. So there we go. We've got sort of a fun John Carpenter audio emotion going on right now, which I like. It's post-apocalyptic. We're hurtling towards the end of the world. We can't be playing tavern shanties. The world's gonna end. I think this is great.
Spore Warden, whenever we do Spore Warden, he's listening to tavern shanties.
Yeah, Spore Warden's like, everything's fine. I don't know what you're talking about. It's the night of spring. There is no night. Is that supposed to be is that my jack, I wonder? Did I already have a prince in here? So sorry, stream. We are just, you try to do a new thing, and it's not going to be perfect every time. I think we have a knight instead of a prince.
Makes sense.
We do. So the night of spring for you, my dear boy, is you see a good omen. What is it? Or you see a bad omen. A foul omen. What is it?
A good omen. When the tower is being reconstructed, and as it is getting closer to being completed, the sigils and runes on the summoning circle light up, and communication still doesn't work with the animals, but the animals are much more pleasant again with this magic going off. So there's something there. They don't know what it is, but it's good.
Okay. Very ominous. Compelling. So importantly, though, that is the strength of the enchantment, whatever it is, 4 weeks out of being functional. Yeah. So that is going to be pretty sick nasty, whatever it is. Gosh, can I tell you, I'm feeling a real temptation to reveal in the lore that this is all part of a great cycle. And it's like, oh, the towers from the last time this happened. And it's like, it's from what? It's from what? Did you Spencer just fucking no-butted me. Good improv, my man. Spencer was like, no.
No, I said we love to do that.
Oh, I thought you said we're not doing that shit. I was like, whoa.
No, we love to do that. And then I was saying, for my project, Bodar, not but. I was saying Bodar.
What's Bodar up to now?
Bodar is, now that he's got this gravesite found, he is going to start his preliminary investigations into the Spore Warden. He's gonna start snooping out that area, find out his weaknesses.
I love it.
That's does he already have a counter on him? What's he doing?
No, that is the waterfall thing. They're trying to plan what to do. That's them investigating what the result will be when the magic ends on the waterfall.
Bodar's investigation, 2 weeks. Easy money.
It's so funny to just put an adventurer in the world who's like, I've got this.
Don't worry, boys. I'll be back in a minute.
Don't worry. I got this. It's just so good. Bodar is the best part of our game. All right, I'm going to do some countdowns. We get down to 3 weeks over in Magic Land. Waterfall Town drops down to 2. Our progress is progressing. Everybody loves it. 2 of spring. There's a large body of water on the map. Where is it? What does it look like? There's a giant man-made structure on the map. Where is it, and why has it been abandoned? Oof, that's tough. We're kind of already playing with both things. I can't end a project early. Well, I guess I can, right? No, we're just playing. No, I'm not. I want to stick to the thing here. So there's a large body of water on the map. Where is it? What does it look like? Or there's a giant man-made structure. I think that there's a large man-made. I think there's a large body of water. I think there's just like we haven't talked about it yet, but I think that it's just like, oh, the ocean's over here.
Yeah, a little coastline.
Here, and I'll put some some waves. And a, what's the, like, here there be monsters.
Sea serpent.
Sea serpent that's like...
A McDonald's that's fallen into the ocean.
No, here, I'll give him a big spooky maw to keep it from
Perfect.
being too McDonald's-y. So this is a sea serpent, and this is the ocean. Sort of a here there be monsters vibe. And then, oh yeah, I've got to get down into project or discussion business. Yeah, I think that a project begins. I think that the Emergent announced that they will be holding an election at the end of the month. No, they wouldn't wait that long. They're going to want to push it in 1 week. The Emergent are going to hold an election to make themselves the actual leaders of the city, to like turn their secret organization into a public office. They basically say like, hey, you haven't killed us yet. So we've been in charge the whole time. We're pitching to make it official. Like, we are in charge now, officially. The Emergent will become the leaders of the city in a week. They're going to hold a vote. I want to say... I just realized that was mean. That's just me saying, Spencer, pick. If it's in a week.
Yeah, I mean, in a week for sure. I think what I love about this so far is how different it is from our tech locale, edifice. Because they were like, we need to do this, and this, so we don't die. Grove is like, we're exploring. We're checking out the vibes. It's just so in character.
Yeah,
For them to be like,
Grove is like, when a problem comes up, we solve the problem. We're not trying to plan. Like, they discovered a secret farm thing, and we're like, we're just not going to do anything with that. I'm fine.
Not our business.
I'm going to start counting down some clocks. You've got a lot of decisions to make. You've got Bodar and the Emergent election.
Yeah.
So I guess take it from the top. Go with whichever one. Go with the spirit.
The Emergent hold the election. And, well, I guess the vote to solidify their power. It's not an election necessarily. And it passes. The Emergent retain control, but with them being outed, there is some measure of checks and balances. The things they're doing are out in the open, so public opinion does affect the things they're doing. Whereas before they just did it and they were undercover, it doesn't matter. But now there is something there.
Yeah, they couldn't put the genie back in the bottle, but they have limited their own power in going legit.
Exactly.
I had a little crown.
Bodar has definitely investigated the Spore Warden's outpost.
What does Bodar find? Does Bodar just... It's fine if, for the record in this game, not everything needs to be a big revelation. It can just be Bodar now knows the layout of the Spore Warden's hideout.
Bodar has infiltrated the Spore Wardens, and he is a Sporling within their ranks.
But... very important question. Is Bodar a Sporling, or is like Radob, or is like Radob Bumblebee him with a big mustache? Like, ooh,
Radob Bumblebee him with a big mustache.
All right, that's incredibly powerful. I love it. Yeah, he's just got a fancy hat on.
It's a mushroom cap.
I love the idea that, like, the Spore Wardens don't take it that literally, but Bodar's like, I have to create a disguise, and puts on, like, a big mushroom.
Gentlemen.
So Bodar's walking around like fucking... Who's that little guy from Mario?
A toad?
Toad, just like, what's up? And they're like, hey, man, are you okay? Like, what's...
The hat definitely conceals the identity, so he's within the Wardens at this point.
I'm loving Bodar's whole thing. All right, so you get the 4 of spring. What important and basic tools does the community lack? Or where are you storing your food? Why is this a risky place to store food?
What do they lack? They don't have any real infrastructure at all. The water that they drink from is purified by magic, just automatically through nature's magic. Their food just it sprouts up. I'm going to say they don't have water filtration. That's what I'm gonna say.
Not the best situation for them. They're like, what do you mean? We drink it, weirdo. It's like, what about your ocean water? You can drink ocean water. It's like, you can't. You absolutely cannot. It's like, I don't know what you're talking about. You can drink ocean water. It's salty. It's fun. And it's like, okay, all right, cool. I will say, the heat begins to pick up. Warmth is abound. There are only 2 days left.
These guys are fucked.
Yeah, there's only...
They're not making it.
Sorry, not days. There are only 2 weeks left in spring.
Damn, they're not gonna have a good go of it. All right, I drew my water bottle.
Oh, and I've got some stuff to erase. Because it's my turn.
I need to have a project start. I'm gonna say they begin investigating the ocean to see if there's anything out there that they can harvest, animals, fish, things like that. That's probably going to take 2 weeks. They're just going out to investigate, so not long. 2 weeks, and I'm going to draw a little boat.
You have clicked to a different pen and are now drawing at 7 times the scale that you just were.
Oops.
Just for our future ability, we gotta nip that, my man. Is that an arrow?
It's a boat.
Oh, it's a boat. Gotcha. I just want to make sure I was understanding the artistic vision there. Yeah, so I think that as that week comes to an end... Oh, here, I can help add an element of authenticity. Perfect. I'll empty out the boat of grass lines. The project on the waterfall ends, and the conclusion came to that... looking at the signs that have already begun to emerge, the waterfall does have an origin. It does seem to flow from the impossibly tall mountains that make up the center of Grove. But what they realize is that a basin is beginning to form under it. Like 5% of the water has become real water, and that basin is very slowly filling and will absolutely flood the area if they don't do anything about it. A flood is imminent if they cannot find some way to solve that. And so I guess I'll just draw like some actual like architecture or whatever you call it around that is like slowly filling with water. Guys, I can't stress enough for those of you watching in the future, I really wish that our artist was here today.
I don't. I think it looks funnier.
It is pretty powerful stuff. There is a disquieting legend about this place. What is it? Or alarming weather patterns destroy something. How and what? There's a disquieting legend about this place. What is it? Or alarming weather patterns destroy something. How and what? A legend, a rumor begins to surface as people are unearthing this tower, and as it is just one little week away from completion, a rumor begins to surface that this tower was once part of an effort to summon Vildarin into physical form in the world. Exactly like what happened to Arcist when he was killed, when he was wounded and kicked off the apocalypse, a couple hundred years ago. That is just a rumor. They don't know if that's true, but that legend begins to spread. I'm not sure how to draw that.
Do like a wizard's hat next to the tower.
Sure. Just do like one of these little wizard hat number.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Honestly,
that's a good hat.
Didn't come out half bad. Oh, it was better before I added that line. Yeah, that looks more like a wizard's hat. And I know exactly what project I'm going to start. Bodar is going to spend the next 2 weeks rising in the ranks so that he can get access to the Spore Warden's personal files.
Bodar's a professional. He's going to do it real quick.
And then how do I do this? I'm going to do like, 1 second. I'm going to draw like some shoe prints Bodar's in his Batman era. Bodar's really trying to solve this case.
Here's my question. Are people tuning in at this point?
Oh, they gotta be, right?
Yeah.
I've accidentally drawn some pretty good perspective footprints.
That's solid.
Yeah, Bodar's like, I'm gonna crack this case wide open. So in 2 weeks, Bodar will have personal access to Hollowbane Badgerborough's like personal effects, and I guess the man himself, if he decides to have a duel about it. You are about to draw the last card from duel. You're about to draw the last card of spring. But first, what is the result of trying to rebuild the tower? Do you want me to erase the tower that we have here?
Yeah, erase the tower and then draw it standing upright.
Great. I wasn't sure if you were going to be like, the result is they all hear this rumor that it's a god-killing weapon and they fuck off. They're like, whoa.
They complete it. And what they discover is that was the case. It was used to summon the nature god. And not only was that what it was intended for, it accomplished it. And that's what made Grove this incredibly rich, abundant location. He arriving here did make just verdant growth all over. So it's useful, but it's also incredibly dangerous because you got 50-50 odds as far as they're concerned. One time we did it and it went well. One time they did it and it went terribly poorly. So who's to say?
So they discovered that this is a circle to summon Vildarin, to force Vildarin briefly into a not mortal, but physical form.
Exactly. And it had been used previously to great effect.
All right, powerful stuff. All right, and you draw the last card of spring before it is summer. You draw the 9 of spring. A charismatic young girl convinces many to help her with an elaborate scheme. What is it? Who joins her endeavors? Start a project. Or a charismatic young girl tries to tempt many into sinful or dangerous activity. What does she do? How does the community respond? So a young lady tries to start some shenanigans.
Young lady convinces a lot of the populace to utilize the tower and circle to begin preparations to summon Vildarin.
Absolutely. Is that
going
to be a hefty one?
I mean, I don't think it would. Here's the thing. I don't think it would actually take a lot of time, even though this is such a massive undertaking. This is like, she gathers them maybe a week and then another week to do it. I'll hit them with 3 weeks, I think.
It's so funny that nobody's like, why did they destroy the tower? no one's like, why did they destroy it? So I have a very important question. We've been playing for the business end of like an hour already. We've got 3 seasons to get through. Is this a 2-parter, or are we going to do half seasons for the rest of the game?
I think a 2-parter. Okay. We can jump back in.
So we'll do spring and summer. Great, we're going to do spring and summer, and then fall and winter the next time, which will almost certainly be probably Wednesday or whatever. Oh, that would honestly, this is a good one, because we can have as many people as we want. We just have more people making decisions about the city. That's honestly kind of preferable. Get a couple of other brains in the space. Stefan's going to be like, there's a vegetable garden. And I'm going to be like, okay, that's your 3rd sort of plant-themed thing. It's going to be like, you're right, it's a fruit garden. And I'm like, still a plant, but okay.
And it's very nice. Look, hey, I get it. I want this place to be nice, but it's really fucked up.
All right. Under the high heat of the sun, conflict begins to enter into the world. It is summer. Whose turn is it? Did you just go? I just went. You just went? Oh, no. All right. Erase your boat number, because that's down to 0, and I will attend to our other countdown clocks. Bodar's getting to the bottom of this case.
There's so many factions right now working towards completely different ends.
It's we're probably doing a better job of playing the game,
Yeah.
the quiet year. The boat. What was the goal of the boat? Was it just to explore, or?
It was exploring, and it was looking for like resources in general. Like they know that things are about to go bad, so they're looking generally if there's a way out or if there's something useful, shit like that.
Yeah, I have just kind of a fun one. I'm gonna erase my water serpent to make it happen.
They hunted the water serpents to extinction.
No, but it is sort of related. I think that what they discover is two things. One is that in this vast sea before, there were these moving islands, very fantasy, right? They're like islands that floated across the surface. And like would be in a, you'd need to chart them months in advance. And I think that two things have happened. Because the ocean requires such a vast amount of magic to do the magical things that it does, right? It's like floating islands and giant creatures. Two things happen. One, the islands have all stopped moving. They are how they are. They have ceased to move.
Yeah.
And two, sea monsters, like our big serpent, start to wash up on shore dead. Not because they've been killed, they don't have giant tooth marks. Like, their body weight has collapsed under pressure. They're too big to live. They could never have existed without magic. And so they start to stop existing. These serpents that are like 10 times the size of a blue whale just start to die. They can't maintain themselves. They can't maintain their body heat. They fall out of homeostasis and begin to die. And that's the two things they discover is one, the islands are where they are. And two, the sea is safe in a way that it has never been before because the sea monsters all just begin to die off. My goodness.
The Emergent are definitely looking at that as a metaphor for them.
Yeah, defo. The Four of Summer, the eldest amongst you dies. What causes the death?
Whoa!
The eldest amongst you is very sick. Caring for them and searching for a cure requires the help of the entire community. Do not reduce project dice this week. I really want to have reduced the project dice. I was going to say they need to spend, like, infinite time outside. I think that the Emergent do not all die, but I think that as we move into summer and physical impossibilities stop existing, the Archfey that have begun to age, the ones that are... We can assume that elves actually live to be like 1,000, right?
Yeah.
The Archfey, though, who are infinitely old, just die. Like, they go out to check on them, and slowly, one by one, these Archfey just die. They're too old. They are just elves now. And so any of them that are over, like, 900 years old just die of old age. And so the emergence numbers are cut into like a fifth of what they once were.
Good thing they solidified that power while they could.
It's funny because they've accidentally just created a government body because they got themselves elected and then all beefed it.
Yeah.
And then I'm supposed to do some stuff.
Bodar, baby.
Oh, I forgot. No, Bodar's 1 week.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yes, I will make that an actual one, even though we're going to erase it in 7 seconds. I'm supposed to start a project or do something. A massive construction project begins to make an artificial river to give an outflow to the lake.
Nice.
They basically say, like, well, I guess we got to get our hands dirty and, like, start digging it out. I think that the death of the sea creatures and the Emergent, like, oldest members is a wake-up call of, like, hey, man, magic's on the way out. Like, you can't ignore these problems. This is an impossibly massive project. That
so much.
6 weeks, absolutely. It's going to take them infinite time to do that. Like, it's like when they had to flood. It's like when they made the basins in, like... the Adirondacks, where they were like, we need to clear out every plant from a valley so that we can create a water reservoir for New York City. So this is going to be a total total disaster. And by that, I just mean very, very difficult. All All right. That's my turn. A lot of stuff finishes. They try to summon Vildarin, and Bodar gains full access. So you've got quite the week, my man.
All right. They weren't stopped. Nothing came up to stop them from attempting the summoning.
At all.
They
Excuse me.
do the ceremony. I think here's the thing. Because magic has already been so vastly influenced, the summoning doesn't work. Not in the way they anticipated it. Vildarin doesn't show up in physical form and solve all of their problems. But it would draw his attention. And that can be good or bad, because he's an unknowable eldritch horror.
Yeah, Vildarin has his own plan.
I think that with this summon, he's seen destruction here. And what he does is he remakes the sea serpents and monsters from the ocean that had rolled up. He gives them legs and lungs and smaller forms, more lithe bodies. And he makes just uber hunters out of them. So now, prowling the countryside is monsters that nobody's ever encountered before.
These sort of like crazy serpentine things. Do you want to give that a crack?
That wasn't it.
There you go. There you go. Okay. Didn't sort of give a mouth. So, like, some real Godzilla shit.
Yeah.
So basically, they summon Vildarin, like, help the natural world. And Vildarin goes, okay, and saves the sea monsters and leaves.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like... Yeah, no, I mean, it is funny. I was like, is it anything positive come out of this? Or is it just
No.
like, oh, shit?
It's fuck. They don't know what he wants. So yeah, that's terrible. Now they've got this platypus monster.
And what happens to Bodar?
Bodar's in it, baby. Bodar gets promoted. He's got easy access. What he discovers is the Spore Warden isn't crooked. He isn't corrupt. He just doesn't believe what's happening.
He's just lawful evil as shit.
He's just wrong. And he's so wrong, in fact, that he has plans to take over the limited emergent now that they're down to 1/5 and limited power. Spore Warden's thinking he's going to come into town and wipe him out. So Bodar discovers his plot.
All right. Love that. So Spore Warden has got sort of a big... I'm going to draw him like a telescope.
He got his eyes on the prize.
That is sort of on the emergent. He's like, I'm gonna get him. All right, and then your card was the 7 of Summer. Introduce a mystery at the edge of the map, or an unattended situation becomes problematic and scary. What is it? How does it go awry?
Unattended problem becomes scary. The animals that they haven't been able to communicate with the new sea monster, terrestrial sea monsters, begin getting closer and closer to Vildarin's grasp. They're hunting the Fae at this point.
Can I just... Can I just grab it? That's my question. Can I just...
If you use transform, the little square box, I think that'll do it.
Oh, I didn't see that there was 2
Oh my god,
boxes.
that's everything. Never mind.
Oh!
That moved everything.
Yeah, I'm trying to... I'm gonna get there. I got this. Maybe if I do that and then this. Yeah!
Lasso selection, yeah.
So you have to select it, and then you have to click up to the pan move button up at the top. So it's 2-step.
Gotcha.
It's a 2-step process.
So they're in here to avoid bigger predators and to get more food.
Okay, and now I just gotta... The music has chosen a good time to get, like, really pretty eerie. That's... see, now it's not letting me draw. This is unrelated. I'm gonna figure this out while we chat. I don't need to be disrupting the stream here. Alright, that's your turn, right? So you got a project you could make.
Project, Bodar, seeing the writing on the wall, is going to attempt to disrupt the Spore Warden from his evil plot. That's going to be 1 week. He's getting in the way.
All right. I've got to figure out how to unselect. I don't know what's going on. I'm the dumbest man alive. I've been drawing this whole time. I just accidentally selected white.
Yeah, I did that.
I was like, well. All right, so Bodar's it's gonna take him how long? 1 week?
1 week.
1 week. All right, I love it. All right, so that's my run. Bodar, I mean, so first things first, the project's carrying on, man. They're trying to make this giant artificial river. They're making it happen.
That should actually be 4. I didn't.
Oh, you didn't
transform
it
on mine, yeah.
I don't know if this is too... I think Bodar's like a high-level famous adventurer. I think Bodar just challenges Hollowbane Badgerburrow to a duel and kills him. I think that Bodar just becomes the Spore Warden. He just becomes Spore Warden Bodar and just fucking takes over. I think like I said, he's just a very powerful adventurer. And he successfully broke in, and, you know, if it was a campaign and you snuck in, made allies, got there, got into his good graces, waited in his room and killed him, I'd be like, yeah, man, I mean, sure.
He takes off his fake mustache and says, "It was I, Bodar, all along."
And the Spore Warden is like, oh no, but his people are like, oh my god, it's Bodar Gleiss.
This is incredible.
This is the best day of my life. And I'm just going to erase wardens.
Now it's Bodar's boys, baby.
Fucking Bodar just takes care of that. There's something deeply funny about being like the human in this situation is like, I got it. And just like, he's like, oh, I killed the Spore Warden and I take over and now we're Bodar's boys. And everyone's like, all right, that is one problem totally taken care of by Bodar. Thank you, my man.
Bodar, it's only been 1 month. And Bodar said, that's a long time.
That's a super long time.
Super long time.
Guys, do
you guys understand? We've got like 6 months before the end of the world.
It's been 3 months since I arrived. I was the first thing that happened. You guys have got to get it under control. All right. I drew the 6 of summer. Outsiders arrive in the area. Why are they a threat? How are they vulnerable? Or outsiders arrive in the area. How many? How are they greeted? How are they a threat? How are they vulnerable? How many? How are they greeted? Why are they a threat? How are they vulnerable? Is a little bit more exciting. I think that before the walls between the planes go up, because we know that's what happens eventually. The walls go up and will never come back down. I think that something far more ominous happens. A mysterious stone plinth appears outside of town, and for a long time nobody is sure why. And then a couple of weeks later, a train pulls into the station.
Yeah.
Langston McCree has finally broken into Grove with the falling magic barrier around the area. That is the threat. Why are they a threat? Is just that we know that McCree and his boys are absolutely armed to the teeth. Why are they vulnerable? Absolutely no infrastructure. They are some loose robots, like running around with guns. Like, basically, like, colonialism arrives in Grove for the first time in the form of these guys. They have no infrastructure. They just have a gun, which in a world with where magic is disappearing is like a huge problem.
That's huge.
A project is immediately started. Bodar turns all attention to solving this here Langston McCree problem, Bodar's like, well, wouldn't you know it? I just done gone and got me an army. I'm gonna turn my attention. Langston McIdiot. Yeah, no. So all jokes aside, so Bodar turns his attention to preparing for what he assumes will be Langston's hostile takeover. The music gets an acting credit on this one. Really coming in clutch. All right, with that, your run. The river countdown clock goes down. I'm going to say it's going to take... Bodar is going to spend 2 weeks scouting out the situation and seeing mainly why they're here. He's hopeful that it's like, please tell me you're looking for like a big gem or like a rock. Like, is there a thing you want? Because that would be fun.
All right.
No projects finish, so I direct you to the Queen of Summer. A project finishes early. Which one, why? If there are no projects underway, boredom leads to a quarrel. So pick a project, end it early. Which one and why? All you've got is the river and Langston.
I'm so tempted to make it Bodar, but I'm not gonna.
Bodar kills Langston McCree.
Bodar kicks the door open and says, "What are you doing here?" No, I'm gonna do the waterway. Okay. They finish it early because Langston McCree's bots show up and offer assistance.
Ooh, an olive branch.
Mm-hmm. They say, we can get this done for you now. We'll do it within the week.
And they offer that.
And they take them up.
No strings attached. They just say, hey man, you need help?
Yeah, we can do it. We're neighbors now.
Coming in hard with the colonialism metaphor of them just being like, no, we're just
weirdo.
It's medicine or whatever.
We're not gonna do anything bad.
Here's a blanket. Do you want this? All right.
Take a whiff.
Kicking things. So that's your prompt. So now, go about what you're going about. I love the idea that because you didn't end Bodar's, that means that these guys are like, we're going to help, and Bodar's like, I don't trust this piece of shit. I'm not stopping my investigation.
They are going to begin water purification trials.
Forgot to count that.
Now that they've got flowing water, they're going to try and set up purification center.
Please draw that a different... There you go. There you go.
Perfect.
It's better now than it was a minute ago.
I can actually... There you go.
I enjoy Spencer racking his brain like, what does a water treatment plant look like?
This'll do. It's kind of like a dam, right?
No, you've nailed the shape, but water treatment plants have those big, like, mill circle things. So you've got
it. Exactly. All right, so they set that up. That's going to take 4 weeks.
4 weeks. All right.
I'm going to say 4.
Great. Powerful stuff. All right, let's do some countdowns.
Bodar's back, baby. What's he do?
Bodar's in. And reduce the water filtration to 3. Bodar's investigation finishes. Bodar manages to get on the train and like listen to the chatter, and Bodar discovers that this is a like Hail Mary pass. Langston McCree and all of the McCree drones are dying. Without magic to sustain them, they are stopping. And they are desperately looking for a fuel source, which is why he finds out 2 things. 1, they are looking for a fuel source. So this friendliness, they don't have hostile intent, but they do have intent. They're looking for a fuel source that will keep them all alive. And 2, the McCree Interplanar Railway has broken into all of the planes. There are drones in all of the planes now that the veil has weakened so much. So everywhere they've ever not been able to get into, they're in. And they are looking everywhere for a power source. So whoever gets that to Langston will be in the best graces anyone could ever be in. And so it's basically just a temptation. Bodar discovers they're not hostile. They're looking for a power source.
Perfect.
And then it's 2 of summer. Someone new arrives. Who? Why are they in distress? Someone leaves the community. Who? What are they looking for? Bodar leaves to look for a power source.
Heal up.
So Bodar heads out. He's like, I'll find it. And he, these boots are made for walking. Heads out. So Bodar is at least briefly out of the community. He's gone. As he tries to find some power source that will keep Langston McCree running, that he can trade for help keeping this place alive.
They're not going to get shit done.
And then what are my options? Can I just I want to double check and make sure that I'm not forgetting any options. That's all. Discover something new, hold a discussion, start a project. Introduce a new situation, might be a problem, an opportunity, or a thing. I'm going to introduce a pretty big problem. Not long after Bodar leaves, a drone is discovered, taking a nice long look at this god-summoning circle.
Yeah.
Taking, advanced readings and studying it in incredible detail. Nobody knows what the plan is with that, but he's looking. Langston's peeping. So funny to be and this is Langston McCree, and he has learned nothing. He has learned no lessons about hubris and the nature of man whatsoever. All right, with that, Mayo, it's your goal. Your water thing counts down to 2. And your card is the 3 of summer. Summer is a time for production and tending to the earth. Start a project related to food production. Or summer is a time for conquest and the gathering of might. Start a military project. Food or the military?
Bodar's boys get word about Langston McCree's bots taking a long look over there, and they are gearing up for some counter-insurrection, just in case.
So what's the project?
The project is discovering weaknesses in Langston McCree's bots.
All right, how long?
4 weeks.
4 weeks, okay. And now you get to start another project or make a new discovery.
Sorry. Anti-robot. I'm going to introduce the dude that we have in the margins of the book. What's his name? What's that fool's name?
Oh, Oakworth Thyssen, the Keeper of Knowledge.
Oakworth Thyssen has been doing several tests, and he's discovered that the tree of Eldarin's grasp is way too big to be natural, first of all. Second, has not been affected by any of the loss of magic. Whereas sea creatures are dying and the fae are dying, the tree, totally fine.
And notably, Oakworth is also an archfey and is still alive.
Yeah, and he's still alive.
So Oakworth is connected to this tree in some way, and he and the tree are both fine.
And the tree, I'm going to say...
I love the idea that Vildarin made Oakworth the Watcher. You must witness what comes next kind of vibe.
I love that. How do I make that? I'm going to put grass around it.
Sure.
And a smiley face.
We completely forgot abundances and scarcities, which is fine. It doesn't really matter.
Who needs
it?
They
just slip through. Well, it's because this new thing has to do with scarcity, so I'm going to probably just end up doing the other one. 9 of summer. I'm sorry, I'm way ahead of myself. So that's your discovery, right?
Yeah.
All right, I just want to make sure that we get that out. Okay, so Oakworth is guys, we're still kicking, me and the tree. And everyone's like, what? That's crazy. All right, countdown. Water goes down to 1 week. Bodar's Boys goes down to 3. I draw the 9 of summer. A project fails. Which one and why? Or something goes foul and supplies are ruined. Add a new scarcity. I think Bodar's Boys get word to cut it out from the Emergent. The Emergent say, like, hey man, cut it out. We have no allies, and Langston is helping. Back off. And Bodar's Boys stand down. Or, well, I'm not gonna, that's not a decision I can make for them. I don't know if they stand down. I know that they stop that. Like, what they are doing, they stop.
Got it.
And then a new project or discovery.
Bodar's Boys go after the Emergent.
they start killing them in the street. It's full circle for the wardens then. No. What is the discovery they make? Or the project that they start? A strange discovery about the great and unknowable mind of Vildarin. The crazy apex predator sea monster guys start on site attacking and killing Langston drones anywhere they find them. And naturally, word begins to spread that Vildarin is also apparently a god that can see the future, a god of prophecy and strength, because all of a sudden, anywhere that they run into the drones, they begin to attack them and destroy them. And basically, everybody discovers that, like, the weird thick hide they have is really resistant to bullets. And, like, the weird jagged teeth, they don't have the, like, jagged teeth that most fish have. They have, like, perfectly smooth teeth. And it's to puncture into metal easily. Without damaging themselves in any way. They basically discovered that these apex predators are, like, made to hunt robots.
Fuck yeah.
Alright, that's my go. It's not really a project, they just discovered that that's happening. Your water project finishes.
Yep. They do it, baby. They're filtering water. They're drinking it, and they're getting it before it turns brackish. So that was actually very foresight-filled for them. They didn't know that.
Oh yeah, they're coming off a reservoir. They're not trying to capture it like as it empties into the ocean. That's pretty good.
So they're good. They got drinking water. If we were doing surplus, that would be in surplus now.
And you draw the Night of Summer. Predators and bad omens are afoot. You are careless and someone goes missing under ominous circumstances. Who? Or predators and bad omens are afoot. What measures do you take to keep everyone safe? And you will have to add back that week.
Predators are afoot. Who goes missing? Langston McCree. Langston McCree himself.
So, like, the train stops?
Yeah. There are bots still out and about, but no new things are appearing there.
Yeah, so normally this train car, like, disappears and reappears, and it just stops. I have no idea how to depict that. I'm gonna put a padlock.
That'll do it. Chunk.
That's crazy. Langston goes missing in Grove.
And got to do a project or a discovery. First off, I have to erase this.
Bodar and Langston return together. They're best friends now.
I'm gonna say Bodar is on a time schedule now. He's going to return in 3 weeks.
So they get word that Bodar's coming back.
Yeah. So Bodar gets 3 next to him. That was a terrible 3.
Sick nasty. All right, and I, for me, so Bodar goes down to 2 weeks. And I, unfortunately, have drawn the King of Summer. Summer is fleeting. Discard the top 2 cards off the top of the deck and take 2 actions instead of 1.
Oof.
Do you want to know what we lost?
Yeah.
We lost the Ace of Summer. A contingent within the community demands to be heard, or a contingent within the community have acted on their frustration. And the 8 of Summer. Someone tries to take control of the community by force, or a headstrong community member decides to put one of their ideas in motion. Start a foolish project. We just discarded 2 shitty ones. Hell yeah.
Wow.
I love that. All right, so I take 2 actions this week. So either a discovery and a project, or 2 projects or 2 discoveries. The discovery is made. The Wizard's Tower is, everybody wakes up one day, and there is a wall. There is a fence around it. And at all hours, bots are seen going in and out, and rumor has it, a vague silhouette is seen in the window, and the rumor spreads that Langston has taken over the tower and intends to summon Vildarin and chain it to his engine. I will say that is not confirmed. That is just a thing. And as a direct result, immediate action is taken. The Emergent and Bodar's boys, basically everybody, a small army basically amasses outside. And they let out a simple demand. You have 2 weeks. Fuck off, or we fuck you off.
Bodar's gonna be here in 2 weeks, and you better be gone by then.
I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, in 2 weeks, Bodar's back, asshole.
Bodar's gonna kick your ass if you're not out of here.
That's
incredible.
Deeply funny. All right, it's your turn. Bodar's back in 1 week. Langston McCree sweating.
Good luck, Langston. You're done for, buddy.
It's so funny that it's like Langston went missing, and it's like, oh no, never mind. He's just doing the evilest thing I can think of.
Just the worst, least foresighted option.
For anybody tuning in who didn't watch our award-winning, famous prospect creation series, Langston is the dude that ended the world like 300 years ago. So this is kind of right up the alley for Langston. He's like, I bet if I chain a god, it'll go great. Well, that's the rumor. It's up to you, Spencer, if Langston does have foresight. Like, who knows what he's doing in that tower? Or if it's even him. That could just be Alpha, like the main drone. And Langston could be missing, and Alpha's like, we'll summon a god to tell us where our boss is. Vildarin, where is Daddy? Vildarin.
Where is he? The Emergent need to do something, I think, at this point. The, 1/5 of them that are still alive. I think even they are feeling
you didn't get
flow of time.
You didn't get your card yet, did you?
No, I didn't.
10 of Summer. You discover a cache of supplies or resources, add an abundance. Or a scarcity has gone unaddressed for too long. Start a project to alleviate scarcity.
Scarcity's gone on too long. They don't have any way to harvest food still. They're going to turn to the invading force of wild animals and start harvesting them, hunting, etc. So I'm going to draw an arrow at the bear.
So they just start actually setting up hunting parties.
Yeah, exactly. Something they've never had to do before.
How long will it take them to set up the infrastructure to hunt for food?
3 weeks.
Okay. 3 weeks it is. And now you can make the Emergent do something crazy.
The Emergent... Actually, I take that back. Our boy, the one what lives in the tree,
Oakworth,
is going to start doing experiments on the tree. He wants to get to the bottom of what the hell's going on in there. And I think that that's a solid 5 weeks.
Okay. It's good stuff. All right. Number 1. Bodar's back, baby.
Yeah.
It's so funny for Bodar to come back with like a crystal or whatever. I have something that I think I need to do. Bodar comes back with in like a shitty wheelchair he has made out of like bamboo or whatever, with an incredibly old man. And what is revealed is that Bodar has come back with Langston, and Langston reveals that he left because Alpha and Beta, his two like best drones, went rogue, and they are the ones in the tower. Langston has nothing to do with what is going on there.
Let's go. What a reveal on Bodar's part.
Yeah, Bodar basically went out there and found Langston like in a ditch next to like a big glowing crystal. He had like heard rumors about this big thing and then discovered it was nothing and literally just couldn't move because he's just a guy now.
Like E.T.
Don't forget the tree is down to 4. And so I think with word of that, I think Bodar's boys assault the tower.
Yeah, they go in.
I'm going to say it's going to take them, what do you think, 1 week or 2 weeks? Or do you think it's way
1
longer?
week. This is small. It wouldn't take any longer than 1 week.
Basically, he's like, Bodar's like, all right, we got to do something because I don't think Langston even knows what the bots are doing. He's like, I don't know what they're doing in there. Like, I don't know why they want that god. All right, the 5 of summer. A project finishes early, what led to its early completion? Or the weather is nice and people can feel the potential. Start a new one. Yeah, I think this is too good. I think a project finishes early. I think that with Langston's help, they just really quickly and easily push in and discover that most of the drones are inert. And that's why it finishes so fast. It doesn't even take a week. It takes them like 12 hours. They breach, they get inside. Most of the drones are just lying in the hallways, completely inert. They kill Alpha and Beta and discover that they were in the process of just summoning Vildarin. Like, they don't find notes. Bots don't keep a notebook.
They don't need it.
They just, all everybody knows is the robots went rogue and tried to summon a god, and no one knows why, and probably no one will ever know why unless they do a project about it. And with that, and Langston coming back, it is the end of summer.
We've done it.
Folks, that was pretty fun. Maybe not our most fast-paced, but the goal of this show has never been to, like, be at a breakneck pace. It has been to demystify world building. Games like this, we've discovered, we've only just started working with them, are a really awesome and fun way to flush out a location to get ready for DMing. This is a great example. We could stop right now, and you could run a whole campaign in Vildarin's Grasp in this situation, right? There's mystery of the tree they're trying to figure out. Other people are in other areas. This old wizard has shown up, but he's stripped of almost all his powers. There's factions. We know what's going on.
Monsters in the woods.
There's monsters in the woods. Exactly. Like, this is everything you need to be like, we know what this area is like, and you could drop some players in it. So we're going to continue this until it is done, because we aren't... I guess this is sort of becoming our sort of channel motto, is like, we don't cut content for the most part, right? We don't snip out our awkward pauses or anything. So yeah, I think we'll pick up there at some point in the future.
In the next few weeks.
Yeah, in the next few weeks, it'll be time for Scheduling Conflict Season 1, Episode 3. With that, tune into our TikTok. It's just TTRP Guy, right?
Yep.
TTRP Guy on TikTok, TTRP Guy, or Guys on YouTube?
Guy.
TTRP Guy on TikTok, TTRP Guy on YouTube. Check out our stream. We stream every single Monday. Our goal is 6:30 start time. Sometimes we end up starting later, like this week. There was, flooding where Spencer is, and there's nothing we can do about that. Our Wednesday games start at 7, usually like 7:15, 7:30.
7:30.
But we'll go stream starting soon is how you know that sometime in the next 15 minutes the stream will actually start. So just keep that window open. Cancel all your plans on Wednesdays roughly in that time frame. And thanks to our new show, pretty reliably, if one of those games falls through, we'll stream something.
We'll be doing something, for sure.
We'll do something, and that show will be called Scheduling Conflicts. That's all I've got. Spencer, do you have anything coming up? Other thing is we're just looking to get some projects off the ground soon, so soon you might be able to buy some packets, look at some adventures that we have written based off of what we come up with on what this stream normally is at this time, DM Writer's Room, where we try to take some of the mystery out of DMing and GMing games. Did you have anything?
That's all. That's everything I'd have said. We're good.
All right. Everybody, tune in on Wednesday or you're a loser.
I second that.